everyone, I'm Chia and welcome back to Life in Chapters. I'm so excited to do this reading vlog because I just received my ARC copy of A Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance by Melissa K. Rourke. This is one of my highly anticipated reads of the year because I'm so excited to see what happens with these characters. I'm so invested in it. The last one left off on a huge cliffhanger, so I'm so excited to see how my favorite characters are doing, and I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride and all the emotions that'll go through it because I know this book is going to hurt me like really badly. But I also wanted to read some more books as well. I'm sticking with the fall themes. I wanted to read Five Survive. I actually received this as a gift from Hales Marie Books and Tea on Instagram. I wanted to thank her so much for sending this book to me because I've been wanting to read this for a while. So I decided to read this in this reading vlog. It's Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I don't know too much about it. I just know that there are 6 friends who go off on an RV adventure and they end up breaking down in the middle of the road somewhere, which is a huge fear of mine, by the way. And they end up trying to survive because someone's the killer. I'm not too sure. We'll find out together, right? The third book I hope to get to also is This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I absolutely fell in love with Tahereh Mafi's writing when I read Shatter Me. I read the full series besides some of the novellas because there's some novella perspectives that I don't really like, but I wanted to read more of her work and I heard this is way better than Shatter Me. This is basically a Persian fairy tale. I've heard nothing but great things about this. I'm excited to read it, and I obviously want to start off with Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance because I'm dying to see what happens. So if you don't know, we follow a girl named Tessa who was taken as a source for one of the legacies named Theon, and she never wanted to be a source, but Theon gravitated to her and decided to pick her randomly after meeting her after a few minutes. This world is very dark. There are a lot of morally gray characters, if not all of them, and a lot of stuff is happening because a lot of the characters are reeling from an event that happened at the last book, and I will update you guys after I read a few chapters of this. Hi guys, I just wanted to give an update. It's currently Friday and I'm about 31% of the way through Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance. I am enjoying it so far. The characters are going through it. I'm not gonna lie, the characters are absolutely going through it. Since this is the 3rd installment in the Legacy series, I can't talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. The characters are going through it. They're reeling from the event that ended off on Secrets and Sorrows. I am scared for these characters. I keep seeing reactions on people's stories on my Instagram and everything about how everything's happening. And I am so excited to keep on reading on, but I'm scared at the same time because I don't want anything happening to these characters. But there's a big feeling I have that there is. A lot of the characters are, like I said, are going through it. One of them is, everyone's kind of separated right now and trying to figure out their own events right now. They're trying to deal with what happened in the last book. I'm seeing so much character growth. And there's a character that I've been wanting to see a redemption arc for a while now, and I feel like we're finally gonna get it, but I'm scared of how it might end up for this character as well. I want all these characters to be happy, but it's not really one of those books where you're expecting like a happily ever after. Tessa doesn't know who she can trust because she's finding that a lot of people has withheld information from her, and unfortunately some of the people who can give her answers are not able to give it. It's one of those things where they don't want to alter fate by telling too much information. There's some characters who can see into the future, but unfortunately if they try to mess with time too much, it might not happen, or it might happen another way. It might cause that event to happen. It's one of those things. It's typical, oh, I don't want to affect your universe, so I'm not going to tell you things that could possibly change it, and it's kind of that situation right now. I am so excited to see more of it because there are certain things developing between 2 characters that I'm here for, but at the same time I feel bad for another character if this does end up happening. So we shall see what happens and how much Melissa keeps torturing us with these characters. It's a huge book. It's a lot longer than the other ones. It's about 740 pages right now. So 31% in. I'm just scratching the surface on this book. But there's been things that are happening every single chapter. Since everyone is separated right now, it's going deeply more into their psyche and how they're reacting to things. And also trying to see if they can outgrow some of their previous negative things about their character that I hope they outgrow, because I really want things to progress on how there are certain theories that I'm thinking that are gonna happen, but we shall see about how things are. But anyways, just wanted to give you guys a little update, and I'm hoping to finish it within the next couple of days so that I can move on to the other books that I have on my TBR this week for this weekly vlog. I'll come back to you guys with an update. So a little bit of an update. I am currently 67% of the way through. I am stressed. I am freaking stressed because some stuff are happening, but other things are getting revealed that could affect the trajectory of choices that some of the characters will have. I've seen other ARC readers' reactions to the end, and I am scared. I really can't predict anything. I think that's the main reason also why I like this book so much, is because it's hard to predict anything in this series. Because a lot of things can happen, and since there's so many choices and expansiveness that this world goes through, that I don't know what will happen eventually. But I want to get this done as soon as possible, because I'm about little over 200 pages away from finishing. I'm excited / stressed, so come along with me for the ride. I'm repping my Fourth Wing shirt. Oranges, if you know, you know. I just got also done reading a book club book, and we chose a book called Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. And apparently it's one of those books where it's a creepypasta kind of book, and apparently it's a bunch of stories that was put together in different Reddit posts, and then it was put together and then made into a book. So we decided that it would be the last book that we read for the last week of October. I gotta say, I did not like it. There are some creepy stuff that happens, but the thing about it is that it takes so long to get to the end bit of the reasonings why this narrator is telling the story. The story takes forever to get to the point of what it's saying. So I really didn't like it, and I'm so happy that I finished it. 1 second as the plane goes by. This seems to happen every single time I start talking. The thing about it is that it takes forever to get to the point. Apparently it's like a sort of like a cult classic on Reddit, and I was like, and then it was there's parts of it where it's sort of not following a chronological timeline. It jumps all over the place. When you jump into the story, maybe like 100 pages in, you realize that you feel like you're missing half the story, and then the whole entire thing gets kind of resolved at the end of it. Not necessarily resolved, it's just that you finally get to the end of the book and you realize what the point of it was. It takes so long to get to the point where I'm like, why do I care about these characters? Anyways, that's not the point of this video. I just want to rant about it a little bit, but let's continue on reading. I'm hoping to get this finished by either tonight or by tomorrow. There's a character in this book that's sort of a Dane / Tamlin person. He's not a love interest, he's one of the friends, but he is irritating, and he's been irritating since the first book, and I don't know how to feel about this guy or what his true purpose is. I love the little moments between the characters in this book. Like, there's tough and terrible things, big things that happen all the time, but when there's like little small moments between the characters, I absolutely eat it up. I'm gonna take a little break reading because my book club discussion is gonna happen soon, and then after that I'm gonna read some more and check in with you guys when I'm back. I know I said I was taking a break, but my god, what chapter is this? What chapter is this? Chapter 35. What is going on right now? What is going on right now? What is going on right now? What? So, I finished Tempest of Wrath and Vengeance, and 5 stars all the way. The amount of character growth and the things that happen with the ending, there's nothing I really can say because I don't want it to be a spoiler. But of course, pick it up. I highly recommend it. Check your trigger warnings, of course, because it is a dark fantasy romance. I absolutely loved how the characters grew in this. I think this is my favorite one out of the whole entire 3 books that are out right now, and I'm so excited for the next one, and I'm grateful that I was able to get an arc of it. Yeah, there's nothing else I could say. It's just that some of the things that happen are exactly what I wanted it to happen, but I'm so scared because the way it ended, it's open-ended right now, and then it's possibly expanding more of the world, which I'm so excited for. And of course the character growth and the person that I wanted to have a redemption arc is slowly getting there. The character growth from Tessa as well, because there's a lot of things that she learned from this during this. She feels that she is all alone because of the fact that she was used and abused, and every single way that a person should not grow up and traumatized is how she grew up. So of course she can't trust anybody because Tessa has been forced her whole life to do things for other people rather than herself. And she's been used by all these other people, and the people she has grown to trust also and have become her friends, unfortunately found ways to use her as well. But I can't wait for the next one, and Melissa Rourke does it again with her writing. It's so in-depth, the world, and then when they are discovering things as they're researching their world along and expands more, you just think of all the things that are connected, and I'm so excited to see the conclusion of the series. Okay, so since I finished that book, I'm going to move on to 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. This is about a spring break that 5 friends go. I really like the tagline. It says 8 hours, 6 friends, 5 survive. And I'm in the mood for a thriller right now. I like to, especially deep diving into a big fantasy that is complex like the Legacy series. I wanted to use this as a palate cleanser. So it's about someone named Red Kenny. They go on a road trip for their spring break with a bunch of her friends, and they go on a road trip during their spring break, and I guess their RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere, and this leads them to having to survive for the night for the 8 hours, and I guess only 5 survive. I'm guessing from the title. I don't believe this will take me too long to read because it's about 388 pages, so hopefully I'll finish it within the next couple of days. But I will update with my thoughts once I make progress with this book. So I'm back with an update with the 5 Survive. I started reading maybe the first few chapters of this, maybe 50 pages, and I'm just not getting into it. So I think I'm going to move on to a different book because, I don't know, I'm just not getting into it right now. It's not like I'm DNFing it or anything, it's just not my right mindset right now for it. I'm just, you know, it's a problem when you've gone through over the same page 5 times and you just are not understanding what is going on. So I think I'm going to put this down for now and try a different book because I want to give my brain a break. So I decided to pick up The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I've been wanting to pick this up for a while because it's one of those like rom-com witchy romances, and I heard that it's not that, you know, taxing of a story to listen to. And this one seems to be right up my alley because it seems to be set in sort of like a witchy town in Georgia, I want to say. And it talks about a girl named Vivian, and Vivian gets her heart broken when she was 19 years old by a man named Reese Penhallow. They live in a place called Graves Glen in Georgia, and It's one of those fall themed towns that is a place where it's very small town and everyone knows everyone. Vivian lives with her aunt and her cousin, who are full-blown witches, and she's a witch as well, but her power has never been as honed in as her aunt and her cousins has been, because her mom never really taught her how to be a witch growing up. In fact, her mom encouraged her to hide a lot of her powers from the world and never really talked to her about it, and she didn't fully start really exploring her powers until she moved in with her aunt and her cousin. These two are the only family she has left. Something happened to her mom and dad and they passed away. One night she runs into somebody named Reese Penhallow, and basically his family is sort of like the founders of the whole town. And there's a college in this town that named after his family. Reese lives in England with his dad and his two brothers, but they have sort of like a rocky relationship with his dad because his dad is very old school, and he ends up being told that he has to go back to Graves Glen because every few years or so somebody from the Penhallow line has to go there during Founders Day to charge the ley lines. And these ley lines actually, I guess these ley lines are there to keep magic in the town and keep protection and just to keep it charged with power. I'm not too sure, but obviously he's very hesitant in going back because Vivian is there, and they didn't like end on good terms because she found out that he had somebody else back in England. And I guess he goes back there and he runs into Vivian because he has a flat tire, and then once he gets into town he gets all of these like bad curses against him. I guess Vivian and her cousin, when they were drunk after she got her heart broken when she was 19, they sort of like played around with magic after they got drunk and cursed Reese. They didn't think that anything was going to happen, that they were just playing around with magic. I like the atmosphere of this. It's very easy to get into. It's very quick. I feel like it's going to be really quick for me to read. 308 pages. I really need like a fun magical story at this point with a little love story sprinkled in. I already know that like the magic system's probably not going to be the most serious thing in here, or the world building or anything. It's not fully fantasy. It's really a modern town with some magic in it. It's sort of like practical magic. Or 83 pages in, I think that it reminds me a lot of Practical Magic with the town. It's sort of comedic as well, and it reminds me of the comedy of Sabrina the Teenage Witch if you grew up watching that. But I'm very excited to keep on reading with this. It's doing what it needs to do right now for me. I wanted to show you guys book mail that came in recently, and it's the special edition of Magnolia Parks. I love the detailing on it. It's like gold foiling, and I think it's leather bound also. I had to have this the moment like I found out that Just Hastings was coming out with this. The quote on the back, you guys can see that this collection is out already for the first 3 books of the Magnolia Parks universe. So it's out for the first Magnolia Parks books, A Long Way Home, and Into the Dark. I don't have my Long Way Home copy yet. I think it's still coming from Blackwell's. I don't believe it's shipped at the same time, but I'm so excited I got my hands on these. It's gonna look so great once I have like more room on my shelf or get more bookshelves, but I'm gonna make sure to display this really well. Oh my god, the gold foiling on this. And the quote again. I've talked consistently on how much I love this series. It's become such a surprise favorite for mine this year. The first 3 books are only out for Magnolia Parks, but once Daisy Hates' books are complete, we are supposed to get 2 more, and then the Magnolia Parks universe will be done. Then Daisy Hates will get her own copy of these books. But I'm so excited to read into this, and then like, and it's the same thing. Same thing on the back. So yeah, I'm excited to have these, and I will show in a future vlog once I get the second one in for these. But this is gonna look great on my shelves. I'm so excited to display them. I believe they're still available on Blackwell's or Waterstones also. I am going to continue reading the X-Hex, and up to you guys in a little bit. What's up guys? I am back with another update. I finished the X-Hex. I didn't think it would take me too long anyway since it's such a short book. It was a typical romantic comedy with a little bit of fantasy in it, and I did like the overall plot of the characters trying to get over a curse that is plaguing their town and the love story that it's centered upon, because I did like the characters of Vivian and also Reese. The conflict was good because it gave them little things to accomplish. The curse that affected the whole entire town affects all the people who have magical powers. It basically makes it go upside down of the things that they want them to do. And Vivian and Reese spent the whole book trying to cover up these little mishaps and figure out way to fix them, but basically putting a bandage on the situation rather than fixing what's going on. But the thing I didn't like about it was that it was very surface level, I felt, which is fine because it is a romantic comedy with a little bit of fantasy in it, but I felt like I was wanting more from it. The love story was centered and it was great, but I felt like the ending was a little bit too wrapped up too easily. And also it included my least favorite trope ever, which is the miscommunication trope. Every single time one of the characters would try to confess their feelings to each other, one of the other characters would say something that would stop them in their tracks and hesitate from ever admitting what they felt. And before you know it, neither one of them would admit what they felt. And Vivian, she is a professor of history at Penhallow College. There's another side of the college where there are witches who actually teach magical classes, and these classes are divided from the mortals. They're always wondering why I shouldn't just go over to the magical part of the college to teach, but I felt like there was a sort of identity thing that was a part of this magic, and I felt like that was a conflict that I wanted more from, and I wanted more exploration from. The solution for it was just a bandage to the whole entire situation. Overall, this book is a 3.75 for me. I loved it for the vibes. I loved that it was set in a small town that was reminiscent of a Gilmore Girls with practical magic mixed into it. It's set in October, so it's perfect spooky month book read. Goes into a lot of descriptions where they go to different storefronts where a lot of them are decorated with pumpkins in the windows, and I would reread this again every single October. It's just I just wanted more from it. That's it. Moving on to my next read for this vlog. I know I said I was gonna read This Woven Kingdom, but I started trying to get into it and I'm maybe 52 pages in, and it's very interesting. I like how intricate it is. It's very different from Shatter Me. I devoured Shatter Me, and this one's more fairy tale based, and I want to give this the proper attention it deserves. I'm deciding to put this down for now because I just feel like my brain's not getting into it, because I know I'm gonna love this book. I have a feeling that I'm already gonna love this whole entire series. It's just that I don't feel like I'm gonna love it right now if I try to force myself to read it. So for now, I'm gonna put this down, and instead I'm gonna pick up Blood and Steel by Helen Scher. This is a part of my year-end TBR, and I'm finally in the mood to finally pick it up, and I'm about 100 pages in. And if you don't know, this book follows a girl named Althea, and she is an alchemist who lives in a place called Thesmar. Her lifelong dream is to become a shield bearer for the War Swords of Thesmar. In this world, females can't join the War Swords because there's a prophecy that was made a long time ago that didn't allow for females to become a war sword anymore or carry any sort of weaponry, because apparently it would bring the end to their world. And in order for her to be able to join these war swords, she has to go petition the king. It's a little bit getting into the world right now because it is the first of the series. It's a part of the series called Legends of Thesmar. I guess it's going to be turning into a realistic reading week for me. Reader, I'm a major mood reader. If I pick up a book and I'm not into it right away, then I will put it down. And like I said before, I want to give this the proper attention it deserves. It's just, I'm just gonna put it down. That's it. And eventually I might try to pick it up before the end of the year, but who knows. I am gonna try to get into this as much as I can today, because tomorrow I will not be doing any reading because I am going to Disneyland with a bunch of my friends. I will try to get as much done before I get out tomorrow. I'll come back with an update. I'm about 180 pages right now. I'm gonna take a break to get some food because I'm getting hungry. For Althea is wanting to become a war sword or shield bearer for the war swords. I guess there's like different positions you can have as a war sword, and she wants to learn how to be it. And she had been practicing in secret and hiding in the forest, and I guess she got caught. It was Wilder Hawthorne who caught her. He's a famous war sword, and he's one of the only few left because a lot of people left the war swords a long time ago. He basically turned her in because he saw her practicing, and she pleads her case to the commanders of the war swords. If she can go and petition the king and get his approval in order for her to become a war sword, then they will let her train. And none other than Wilder Hawthorne has to accompany her to this place. I am liking it so far. I have like no strict opinions about it. There's a constant back and forth between her and Wilder, and always the first book in the series is always kind of slow, so I want to give it more of a chance. But I'm interested to see how she can become one of these war swords that she wants to become so badly, and I'm interested to see how her relationship with Wilder develops, because Wilder is completely adamant about her not joining the war swords because he doesn't feel that she should be able to, since of course that law is of like females can't join, but she is trying to prove her worth. And also since they're journeying together, she's trying to study how he kind of like practices every single day. So I'm interested to see how that develops. But like I said, I will be going to Disneyland with a few friends tomorrow, and I'll be there the whole entire day. Up to you guys once I make more progress in this book. Happy Sunday, guys. I am back with another update. I am tired and sore from walking around Disneyland all day, but I had some fun. I was able to get a few clips here and there throughout the day, so I hope you guys enjoyed the little montage I was able to take at Disneyland. But I got further into Blood and Steel, and I am so loving it. Althea's continuing on with her training in order to become a war sword. She did get the approval from the king. That shouldn't be a spoiler because it would not propel the plot along if she didn't get approved to be a war sword. Currently, Althea is training with the war swords. She's obviously meeting opposition because all of them are males. Unfortunately, because of her gender, they don't think that she can handle it. She unfortunately has to share the barracks with a bunch of other males. Now I'm seeing the kind of treatment that she's getting right now, and it's kind of disheartening because it does unfortunately remind me of reality of what we have to go through as females, but she is being strong about it, and it was something else that will help propel her to be able to meet their opposition and surpass it and try to gain her footing, because she has to, if she really wants to become a war sword, she has to find her footing. I was expecting Wilder to be more in this book, but his presence not nearly there as much because she is having to go through the training. It's like any training montage that you go through in any movie or show. I love the people that she is meeting and becoming friends with. There are two side characters called Kip and Cal, and they automatically take to her and help her because they're just kind people, and they're able to and form friendships with her. I'm expecting to finish this today. I don't want to take it into the new week because I do want to start a new reading vlog soon. I am maybe 75% of the way through, so I'm hoping to finish this today. I should be able to. We are going out later to do a little bit of shopping and run some errands. I'll try to read as much as I can. While I'm trying to get ready and everything, I'm gonna listen to the audiobook. I have some hours left over on my Spotify audiobooks, and I found out that Blood and Steel is on there, and I think the whole entire Legend of Thesmar series is on there as well. So I think I'm gonna listen to a lot of it while I'm getting ready and out and about. But I will update you guys once I get further along again. Hi friends, I am back with the final update for Blood and Steel. I did end up finishing it and I was obsessed. I'm so mad at myself for taking so long to pick this book up. It was on my shelf for the past few months, but I'm so happy I did, and I can't wait to continue the series. My overall thoughts is that it's a good start to the series. It was a bunch of training montages though, and a lot of descriptions of training and fighting scenes, so if you don't like that, be expected to read a lot of that, because it is a lot of Althea going through her journey of becoming a war sword. So what they ultimately is trying to do after this training is go through something called the initiation, and you need to pass this initiation in order to become a war sword that will become the Guardians of Thesmar. They are able to get an apprenticeship after the end of this journey, and what they're trying to do is go through that, and then they're also trying to deal with something that is going on with their whole entire city, where there are rips around the world where there are shadow wraiths coming through. And so Althea is going through it and everything, and is dealing with the opposition, like I said before, and also dealing with her feelings and her relationship with Wilder Hawthorne. And Wilder Hawthorne is trying to, try not to feel anything for her, because he would technically be her superior, and he is trying to keep those feelings at bay, but they just can't stay away from each other like any normal romantasy. But overall, I actually really like Althea as a character. I just want to see her grow more, because I felt that she was very surface level, but towards the end I started seeing more of how she felt about certain things, because it felt like a growing period for her, and the huge cliffhanger at the end because you find out a big revelation. I'm excited to see the world develop more, because we did majority of the book stay within the realms of her training, and I just want to know more of the characters, because it did focus on a lot of Hawthorne's feelings for her. It is kind of like dual POV, because it would alternate over huge chapters to become from his perspective. What I see from his POV is that it's just him reiterating exactly what happened, but from his perspective. So I want to see more growth from him and her. I didn't like the fact that every single time we were in Althea's POV, she would bring up the point that yes, that he was ginormous, and every single time she would see him, or like he would stand next to her, she would emphasize his size. And then I would just be thinking in my head, I get it, he's enormous, he's tall, we get it. So just move on. From what I've been hearing is that before moving on to the second book, a lot of people are suggesting to read Slaying the Shadow Prince. I think Slaying the Shadow Prince is a part of the interconnected fantasy monsters of God and Monsters. I don't know. It's a whole entire series where a bunch of different fantasy authors came together to make standalones that are part of their own universes. And the Legends of Thesmar is a part of it. Everyone said that read that book first before you move on to the second one, because there is sort of like a character that shows up later down the line, but I don't know. I'm not too sure, but I will be picking that up after this one. But I'm so excited to continue this series, because I really like the way it ended, and I like the things that were being introduced and the side characters, and overall this would be a 4.25 for me. It was great, but I wish there was more than like the training sequences, but I get it, it's a first book, so we shall see on how everything progresses in the story. But anyways, thank you for joining me on my realistic week of reading, of mood reading, because I did change a couple of books out. Hopefully the books that I mentioned before I'll be able to pick up soon. It's just, like I said, I have to be in the mood for it. But thank you for watching. If you want more, like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.